Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the wonderful world of Vechain, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what we think is likely to happen next. As I get into the video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, what are you waiting for? Check it out guys. The link is in the description down below. Let's jump right down into this video then. So here we have Vechain paired up with USDT on the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 contract, right? This is the perpetual mixed contract for leverage trading. So this one here is, we use this one on 𝗕𝗘𝗪 because they do not have a spot function so far for Vechain. I'm working on that though. I do want to get spot access to VET on 𝗕𝗘𝗪, but for now we're using the contract, and if we're to leverage trade, this is the kind of one that we'd analyze anyway. So let's jump into kind of what's going on here. So from a smart money concepts point of view, we can see that we're in a bearish structure. Okay, this was kind of started off over here on the 4th of July at 2000 hours UTC +1. And this unfortunately is putting us in a bit of a bearish state of play. We need to do some sense checks though, whether we are impulsive or not, right? So we're going to just do those sense checks right here. I'm just going to move this over. You can see that we hit the 1.618 only when we come down into this low level over here. But this is also of interest to me because it does look like this is a potential fifth wave movement after maybe a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 coming in here. We then bounce up and then we go down one more. And I think this is actually still a fifth wave movement. So I think, yeah, we probably are in an impulsive level. Let me show you. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, we are probably in some kind of bearish state of play, coming in looking like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, I see that's 5 needs to come down here, 4, and then we've got to come down into 5. So to me it looks like we've done something like this. We've got an extension in our fifth wave movement here. It could of course be a wave 1, but I don't think that's the case. I think that's actually an overextension into the fifth wave movement. 1, 2 in here, so we can kind of see that 1, 2 coming down into this wave 3 with another extension, moving up and then moving down. So that's kind of where I think that sits, and therefore we still have further downside. But I think it's essentially just one more drop before we move on up. But from there we can see equilibrium sits quite nice between the kind of discount and premium areas. There's a couple of fair value gaps and there's a lot of selling pressure up here. So we're not likely to see price action move rapidly up higher than the kind of swing high that we've got at the moment. So it looks like 2.124 is where that sits, and we should be preparing ourselves for much further downside. Now we left a lot of fair value gaps, as you can kind of see here. So coming down and probably moving down into these low ranges is something that we should expect. Now because of this nature of what this is, and I talk about this all the time, if we do a 5-wave movement, then we should be expecting to end on a 5-wave movement, right? So we start with 5, we must end in 5. So coming down here, I would expect a 3-wave correction once done, probably back up towards equilibrium. We expect a 50% move normally. And then we'll be looking at breaking back down and into another 5-wave pattern. And for Vechain here, one of the things that we need to monitor is whether or not this turns into a large impulsive movement or whether it's just a corrective zigzag. Okay, a corrective zigzag would be probably the best case scenario for Vechain because it would end somewhere around that kind of 1.6, 1.5 cent range. And if it goes impulsive, well, all of what you see so far would essentially just be a wave 1, we come up into a wave 2, and then we have a really big and deep wave 3, probably bringing us down quite far, unfortunately, and then bringing back down. And again, you'd have that same problem that if you have a 5-wave structure here, you'd need to make sense of it. And for the most part, the way I would look at that, I think, would be that on this hourly chart, we'd have a zigzag pattern within this little range here. No, we can't actually do that. So it would have to come down even further after this. So there could be a lot of bleeding if we have an impulsive structure. Now, a double zigzag pattern would be my preferred here. So we'd basically have a kind of A, B, and C structure. We'd then bounce up a little bit, and then we'd have another ABC structure. This will get us down to where we need Vechain to go in terms of accumulation and kind of where I think things are heading, but yet not have that impulsive nature to it. So that would be my kind of preferred option and a bit of a path downwards for Vechain. But I think for now what we'll do is we'll just monitor and keep an eye on the existing structures here. So let's jump on over into our daily chart for Vechain. Where do we think things are going? Well, our zones are still here within a Z wave, so we would look for a zigzag pattern within that Z wave structure, kind of coming in on the 0.01121 on the low side and 0.01548 on the high side. So that hasn't really changed. Our thoughts and patterns here for Vechain are very much aligned to thinking that we need to see this downward pressure. We'll see some volatility though. We did move up towards that 200 EMA, so nice healthy push to the upside, and now we just need to see a nice healthy correction to the downside. So for the most part, that's kind of where I think things are with Vechain. It's a little bit of a brief video here, kind of just a few minutes, just kind of talking about where I think things are heading. And I think essentially we are looking at just a little bit further to the downside on the macro scale, but do expect some volatility on the smaller time frames because nothing will move in straight lines. We can see here that we'll probably have a small move to the downside on the hourly, but then a bigger move to the upside overall, where we'll grab out some of those fair value gaps and things like that. But ultimately, that's kind of where we're thinking. Unfortunately, I think we've got a bit further to the downside to see here for Vechain's VET token. If you have found this video useful, although brief, smash that like button. I appreciate that. If you are new, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, check it out. Guys, a link is in the description below. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.
We are not financial advisors. None of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.